Prices, no doubt, affect people's food purchasing power and decisions. This is where we anchor tonight's edition of Weekend File. Current prices of food items in Nigeria. Good evening and welcome. It is widely believed that prices of foodstuff in the country differ according to closeness of a market to the source of food items. While some markets have such location advantage, others are further away from main source. The truth of the matter is that the prices of foodstuff in the country have witnessed rise and fall in the last 2 years, a situation attributable to season's crops, cost of imported food items arising from exchange rates and absence of price control system. But some say prices of foodstuff are in constant upward leap due to some factors, namely inflation, epileptic electricity supply, and cost of transportation. And to be more specific, we hear that foodstuff such as maize, beans, and millet are a lot cheaper in the northern part of the country compared to the southern part, where palm oil and gari are at lower prices. On other staple items like rice and yam tubers, rice comes in different brands, both local and foreign, and their prices differ according to kilograms and quality. Yam tubers also come in varieties bearing different names depicting their sources like Bwari yam, Benue, Anam, Onitsha, and Abakaliki yam, and all come with different prices. And now beverages may appear expensive, but to have them in sachets these days, perhaps that's a way companies are encouraging affordability. We will put all these into perspective to determine the true food pricing mechanism in Nigeria. My name is Kirian Umayo, and this is Weekend File. Let's do it again. The news is first. Ogun State Police Command has rescued 5 persons kidnapped last Thursday along Ijebu-Ode. Ogun State Commissioner of Police Bashir Makama attributed the success of the rescue mission to collaborative efforts of the police with local vigilante groups. Mohammed Adebawale reports.
Following the abduction of 5 persons, 4 males and a female at Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State while on transit along Benin-Ogbere-Shagamu axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, men of the Ogun State Police Command, on the order of the Inspector General of Police, declared a massive manhunt to rescue the victims and as well arrest the perpetrators. Efforts of the security agency paid off when the victims were rescued unhurt.
The search commenced that same day with deployment of policemen, massive deployment into the area, and search commenced right into the forest. Well, as God will have it, this morning the first victim, who is the woman, was rescued very early this morning, and she has since joined her family at the Redeemed Church of God. The remaining 4 men, the search continued for them. The pressure was mounted. The policemen lined up all through. And again, as God will have it, they were equally rescued unhurt.
The victims who narrated their ordeal in the hands of their captors attributed their freedom to God and the swift response of the Nigerian police.
Well, I want to use the opportunity to appreciate the police, because the pressure they gave them led into them letting us go. We were held there, we were put in a swamp. We slept in a swamp with all manner of insects and reptiles. And we moved like 30 kilometers inside the jungle where nobody has treaded upon.
Meanwhile, the police debunked rumors that all abducted persons were members of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. The female among them, who is a member of the church, has since been reunited with her family. In Abeokuta, Mohammed Adebowale, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has sent his condolences to the Catholic Church over the killing of Reverend Father Paul Ofu, the priest of St. James Greater Parish Catholic Church, Uboka, Enugu State. In a statement signed by the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, President Buhari expresses deep shock and dismay over the killing of another priest and has ordered a thorough manhunt for the killers and their immediate prosecution. The President commiserates with government and people of Enugu State, family of Reverend Father Ofu, and members of the parish and all Christians. In this statement, President Buhari also assured Nigerians of freedom of religion and protection of places of worship, as well as the lives and citizens wherever they live. Now, the Nigeria Police Force says it will spare no efforts in clamping down on any individual or group that threatens the peace of the country. The warning is in reaction to a video circulating on the social media by a group known as Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria and others inciting Nigerians home and abroad to join a planned revolution march against the government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on Monday, August the 5th, 2019, with the sole aim of forcing a regime change in the country. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, DCP Frank Mba, indicates that the call amounts to treasonable felony and acts of terrorism, and that the police will therefore not stand and watch any individual or group in the society cause anarchy in the land. While acknowledging the rights of Nigerians to embark on peaceful protest, the police restates that such rights should not translate to a violent and a forceful change of government, which clearly is the meaning of revolution. The statement warns the organizers, sponsors, allies, supporters, associates, and sympathizers of the group, the Global Coalition for Security and Democracy in Nigeria, to steer clear of any such planned protest or demonstration as acts of incitement and proposed revolution, as the full wrath of the law will be brought to bear on any individual or group engaged in found participating in the above planned criminal act. Parents and guardians are therefore enjoined to call their children and wards to order. Youth from 60 different countries converged on Abuja, Nigeria, to discuss the place of young people in the world in the 21st century. The event was held in honor of the visiting Director General of the International Labour Organization. State House correspondent Jida Onifado reports that Vice President Yemi Osinbajo was inspired by the new thinking of the youth.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo notes that it is heartwarming hearing young people now talk about opportunities in their conversations around employment rather than the problems. The Vice President says youths only ask for what government is going to do to make it easier to do what they love doing.
What I find is that young people already recognize what they already recognize that these times are challenging, but they are meeting those challenges with a great deal of energy, with a great deal of creativity, and with a great deal of optimism. And that we're seeing practically everywhere. And I'm glad to see that many of you young people here also have that same positive outlook, and you're looking at the future with a great deal of confidence.
The environment, as Vice President Osinbajo explains, is dynamic, and that people too need to move along with it.
Things are changing so quickly that even a lot of our policies are getting outdated, and we need to move along with some of the changes that we're seeing, especially some of the disruptive ideas that we're seeing all across the country. And this, I'm sure, is the same all over the world.
Director General International Labour Organization, Guy Ryder, commends the Nigerian government for a warm reception.
Where it seems to me dialogue is becoming more and more problematic. Dialogue of a social nature, dialogue between nations. To have young people convened, coming together and interacting in this way is in itself, I believe, of great value.
In Abuja, Jide Onifade, NT News.
The Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, has paid the sum of more than 1 billion naira outstanding severance benefits to about 1,600 verified eligible ex-workers and next of kin of deceased ex-workers of Savannah Sugar Company Limited. The payment is in line with the President Muhammadu Buhari's resolve to ensure the accurate computation and payment of the balance of the one-off terminal benefits for the workers who were disengaged in 2002 when the company was privatized. More than 1,100 ex-workers will receive the sum of 723 million naira, while 404 next of kin will receive more than 300 million naira. The Directorate has advised ex-workers in the diaspora who did not take part in the verification and biometric capture in Jimeta, Yola, Adamawa State in February 2019 to visit PTAD headquarters, Abuja, or PTAD Northeast Regional Office in Yola, Adamawa State, when they return to the country to be verified. They will also be required to present the original and photocopies of their career document, original stamped and signed bank statements for 1 month, BVN slip with clear picture, valid means of identification, and one colored passport photograph. A $200 million agriculture project is to be jointly executed between the federal government and the World Bank. In this regard, those to implement the project are undergoing training for the timely and transparent delivery of this 5-year task. Musa Babali reports that the project will be executed with the terms and conditions stated.
About 150 officers are to implement the project at both national and state levels. This capacity building workshop is therefore organized for the staff towards ensuring that they carry out their duties according to the World Bank standard and guidelines.
But with the information we're being equipped on, with the knowledge we're acquiring, it's going to be a very good guide for us so we don't run into problems.
I've learned a lot, especially on the project document appraisal, that is the part, and also the project implementation manual.
The issue of transparency and accountability took the center stage at the training.
To be accountable, to be transparent, to attach value to money, fit for purpose is my professional ethics, and I've also acquired more. I've been exposed more on this ethics.
Transparency is one thing where whatever we do, we have a criteria, and whoever comes must meet the criteria of the Kano State government, the federal government, and the World Bank. So what we do, for example, we don't entertain a farmer who has not been registered by a recognized organization.
The project is designed to provide financial and logistics support to 60,000 farmers in the next 5 years. From Lagos, Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
The Presidential Amnesty Program has taken another step forward in its quest to build capacity among the youths in the Niger Delta region. The latest stride is the employment and reintegration of more repentant youths through the Amnesty Culinary Competition held in Calabar, the Cross River State capital. Umo Bassi Edit reports.
It's been a journey of 10 years, and the Presidential Amnesty Program has not stopped impacting lives, especially that of the Niger Delta youths, through sustainable reintegration programs. The project is to ensure business setups and job creation, which remains a vital tool for conflict reduction and resolution in the Niger Delta region.
We have to monitor you month by month to see that you are still working, because at once you stop that, we are going to delist you and remove you from the program entirely. You're not going to earn the stipends that you're supposed to have, because the empowerment gives you a provision for you to work for yourself.
The program so far has graduated over 16,000 beneficiaries in various vocational skills, with 447 currently in training.
Very laudable. It has engaged the young men. All that we want to appeal to these young men is to say that they should be patient well enough.
There has never been a time that a culinary program has been set or put in place the way it has been put in place today.
The latest beneficiaries are the participants in the culinary competition who went home with various cash prizes and starter packs.
The Office of the Amnesty, for the good works they have done, they should continue.
In Calabar, Umo Basede. NTA News.
Former national chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Atahiru Jega, and some other Nigerians have joined forces to reposition the People's Redemption Party for more nationalistic outlook. A statement by the party's National Publicity Secretary, Abdul Gombe, says Professor Jega is to chair the SWOT Analysis Committee of the party. It adds that the SWOT Analysis Committee will critically examine the strength of PRP, its weaknesses, and the opportunities available to the party, as well as threats to its existence and well-being. Other committees also constituted mobilization, finance, and funding. The Guild of Entrepreneurs has upheld the task of reducing hunger and poverty in Africa. They took on this responsibility at the induction ceremony by the Institute of Strategic Entrepreneurs of Nigeria. Elizabeth Omori reports that the Director General of the NTA, Ibn Yakubu Mohammed, was conferred with a Distinguished Fellowship Award at the ceremony held in Abuja.
With the recent signing of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement by President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigerian entrepreneurs are beginning to indicate their interests in harnessing the potential of the agreement. Considering the enormous benefits of entrepreneurship, these entrepreneurs have been equipped with requisite knowledge on how to take advantage of the trade agreement. Joseph Unduka is an entrepreneur. He's committed to contributing to the gross domestic product of the Nigerian economy through local impact. He says startup capital is still a major challenge.
Release funds to them, monitor them, use agencies, regulatory agencies, to make sure that their product is globally certified.
The government, in their own innovation too, they are making a lot of impact to make sure that the entrepreneurs of today stands well.
Creative thinkers and problem solvers who have contributed immensely to the nation's economy in their various endeavors were conferred with fellowship titles in different categories. One of the recipients is the Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who was conferred with a Distinguished Fellowship Award. He was represented by the General Manager, NTA Parliament, at the event.
For NTA and the DG, who is on the affairs there, it's promotion of entrepreneurs that we know is going to lift the economy. If you notice, the next level agenda of government is to promote medium and small businesses.
Take the risk, sustain the business, and ensure that it gets to a peak of it.
The entrepreneurs are calling for more support from the government in order to create more jobs, generate wealth, and by extension, solve some of the social challenges confronting the nation. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Empowerment of women as a strategy to address social vices which impede economic development has continued to be popular, especially among not-for-profit organizations. Elizabeth Omori again reports on one of such empowerment programs in Kuje on the outskirts of Abuja.
They collect credit, before I sell fish, they're going to worry me that they cost me. Give me my money, only 2 days I give you to sell. That 2 days, if I never sell, now so my mind would shake.
Veronica is a widow and a trader who has been fending for herself and her children since her husband died. Her situation is not different from that of so many others in this hall who are ready to change the narratives of wallowing in self-pity and dependence to becoming self-reliant. This is courtesy Glimpse of Life Foundation, which offered financial and empowerment support.
Think big and start little. No amount is too small.
I have come to learn so many things concerning this bookkeeping and accounting.
It is the belief of Glimpse of Life Foundation that the gesture will facilitate socio-economic development, improve local livelihoods, and create economic opportunities for the women, especially widows, single mothers, and the vulnerable, to provide for their families.
The cash, they're not bringing it back to us, but we want to mentor them and see that our aim for them, our dream for them comes true.
If you're doing food or you're in catering or whatever it is that you're doing, you need to make sure that your own
is better by making sure just a little quality of cleanliness to your work.
Veronica and more than 25 other women were exposed to several micro-businesses and also taught how to develop a business plan, keep accounts, market their products, produce smoothies and sandwich. The women, however, advocated girl-child education and stringent laws against violation of their rights. In Abuja, Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
Thank you, Elizabeth. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has lodged pilgrims in five-star hotels to prevent them from missing their way to designated points while in the holy city. Lami Ali reports on how the pilgrims are utilizing this opportunity.
The annual Hajj pilgrimage in Saudi Arabia, observed in the first 10 days of the last month of the Islamic calendar, attracts more than 2 million people from across the Muslim world. Aside the Hajj rites, each pilgrim is determined to observe as many of the 5 daily prayers in a congregation as the 2 holy mosques in view of the blessings derived. It was in recognition of this that the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria secured accommodation for pilgrims in hotels located near the mosque.
16 5-star hotels in Markazia with a capacity of 15,093 bed spaces. 1, road traffic accidents. That has caused a lot of problem to Nigerians in those days. That's about 4 years ago.
The pilgrims comment on this development.
The other time we came, it used to be a bus used to carry us to the mosque, but at this time it's a trackable distance and we can plan our programs.
Nearness to Haram is excellent, and we have been observing all our 5 daily prayer in the mosque.
Where they give you to stay is good, well, in near mosque.
More than 30,000 Nigerian pilgrims have so far arrived the Holy Land for the 2019 Hajj exercise. In Medina, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Lami Ali, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with the Deputy Senate President, Senator Ovie Omo-Agege, as he turns 56. In a statement by the Presidential Advisor on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President identifies with the National Assembly, friends of the celebrant, family members, and political associates on the auspicious occasion, urging him to stay focused in pursuing the interests of the nation and ensuring that his passion for helping the underprivileged in his constituency remains his priority. The President salutes the Deputy Senate President's courage and party loyalty, especially in his election as the first senator from Delta State to emerge as Deputy Senate President. President Buhari prays for longer life, good health and wisdom as Senator Omo-Agege serves his people and the nation. You are watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Our focus today is on prices of food items in Nigerian markets, which are determined largely by certain inevitability factors. What are those factors? You will get to know in our correspondence report and the conversation that follows momentarily.
Listen to the voice of terror.
Kana ganin maulidi inna idan maulidi ya dinka miliyoyi suka darka ko da tun daga tudun tsaunin aso ka hango milamilai aka ce menene aka ce duk mutane ne me suka zo maulidi ne amma gashi nan suna zuwa inda helicopter ya ka gani malam sai na dagawa mai yiwa mutum ya ce to wato ku ashe kuna taron maulidin da wata manufa ne sai mu ce din da wata manufa ne in har muka tattara mutane da sunan annabi muka kwace gwamnati muka mai sheta ta annabi mun bi sunnan wane sunnan annabi to wannan wani misali ne wanda revolution din Imam Khomeini ya nuna ma mutane cewa fawa yana hannun mutane ne ba yana hannun azzalumai bane.
Start with *555* #.
Make I sell my market finish first, eh? I will call you back. Oh.
Glow Unlimited.
Bayes University is a fully licensed university operating since 2011 and has grown to have 32 accredited programs in 6 faculties. This includes computer and applied sciences, management and social sciences, engineering, environmental sciences, law, and basic medical sciences. The university also offers postgraduate programs and foundation courses in a conducive learning environment with modern teaching facilities and high-quality national and international staff. Bayes University graduates have either progressed into respectable career positions or have obtained postgraduate degrees from different parts of the world with distinctions. Call or visit www.bayesuniversity.edu.ng. Bayes University, Abuja. Learn to live.
Following confirmation by the Senate, all ministers designate are by this notice informed the relevant documents for their study and guardians preparatory to the inauguration of the Cabinet shall be available for collection at the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Cabinet Affairs Office, from 10 a.m. on Tuesday, August 6, 2019. Ministers designate are also requested to please bring along and submit to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation their updated CV in soft and hard copies, as well as any valid identification document. In view of the need to allow ministers designate enough time to study the documents and considering the upcoming summer break, His Excellency Mr. President has approved an induction retreat for ministers designate to be held at the State House Banquet Hall, Abuja, from August 15 to 16, 2019. For further clarification, please contact the Permanent Secretary, Cabinet Affairs Office, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Wishing you a happy Salah and looking forward to seeing you at the retreat. Boss Mustafa, Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Announcer.
Ronaldo na the highest. Ronaldo na the highest champion.
If you check with, look at it like this.
Mini-Me, taste the fun.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
You're welcome back. Now, reports from the northwest states of Kano and Jigawa indicate that the influx of food items into the market has forced down the prices of such commodities. Suleiman Abdullahi Regachikum compared reports from various markets in Kano and Jigawa states.
Kano market in Kano State is one of the popular grains markets in sub-Saharan Africa. The market is booming with influx of farm produce as prices crash even before the harvest of farm produce. Although they were now started as a market for major food crops, it has now developed to a major supply of cash crops for exports.
Before it did cost, but nowadays it don't dey cheap now. The price it don't go down well. I'm may come down small, come on.
Yohannes Hassan Barrow reports that a bag of beans which sold for 14,000 naira is now 12,500 naira. Millet is now 9,000 naira as against the old price of 10,000 naira.
Investigations have indicated that there are new entrants into the farming business at various categories. We have new entrants, large-scale farmers, medium-scale farmers, and small-scale farmers.
And from Jigawa State, Hassan Shehu reports that there is a significant decrease in prices of foodstuff at Maigatari International Market. Analysts attribute the development to bumper harvest experienced in the state last year.
2017, imagine a mudu of gyro cost to the common man 640 naira vis-a-vis the present price, which is 200 naira. You are in Maigatari Market. You are living witness that the prices of foodstuff has fallen.
If you compare to the last year, the price are go down more than last year.
Although there is a boom in the availability of farm produce to the satisfaction of buyers, sellers are, however, complaining of low patronage, an indication that many people are into farming as encouraged by the present administration. In Kaduna, I am Suleiman Abdullah Rigachikun, NTA News.
Now, in the South-South geopolitical zone, specifically Rivers State, increase in the prices of food items is attributed to deplorable state of roads and security challenges. The Barry Siedoma Nweke reports.
Prices of foodstuffs differ according to the markets and locations. A survey of market prices indicates that a basin of gari goes for 2,200 in some markets in a chain, while it costs 2,500 in Port Harcourt. A bunch of plantain, which sells for 2,000 naira in the city, also goes for 1,500 naira in markets in the outskirts of the city. Other produce such as yam, ogbano, maize, among others, are also relatively cheap in the rural markets.
Leoma to here is not an easy job, so everything add together, it makes the price a bit high.
3,000 for baskets, but now 7,000 high. Everybody are complaining that sin is cost.
In Bayelsa, Doris Akumoye reports that seafood is still quite expensive in the markets due to the menace of sea pirates and other costs of obtaining or producing the agro products.
We need light, our fish full core room, nowhere to dry.
With the provision of facilities such as silos, pesticides, affordable fertilizers, locally fabricated meals, the level of waste of agricultural produce will be reduced and become more affordable or relatively cheaper. In Port Harcourt, Deepa Barry Siedoma Nweke, NTA News.
As the saying goes, different strokes for different folks. While those in the South-South lament the increase in the prices of food items, residents in Maiduguri are smiling. Let's find out why from Naomi Aboaku.
Prices of food items are usually high during the rainy season in Maiduguri markets, owing to the reason that grains were being taken out of the country through Borno borders to neighboring countries of Niger, Cameroon and Chad, or even beyond, but security challenges and counter-insurgency operations along the borders have slowed down the cross-border trade in grains, as well as low purchasing power of local consumers, leading to drop in prices.
Compared to last year, there's great difference. Even maybe it's half of the price we bought last year.
100-kilogram bag of maize goes for 9,000 naira, and the 50-kilogram is 4,500 naira. From Damaturu, Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports that farmers and grain dealers are lamenting over the drastic drop in price of grains at the peak of the rainy season. A market survey conducted in Damaturu indicates that a 50-kilogram bag of beans costs 9,000 naira, while that of maize is 8,000 naira. The story is the same in Gombe.
The people that store, they're supposed to be getting gain. They tend now come down. But the problem we have now is that no money.
Now they are selling iron beans for this market, 13,500. They are selling white one, normal. They are selling 10,500, 11,000.
Emmanuel Akila reports that availability of grains in the markets in Gombe indicates that there is high supply and low demand of the commodities due to lack of patronage. There is every indication that there is great involvement of people in agriculture, thereby making Nigeria one among countries in the world that can sufficiently feed its citizens. In Maiduguri, Naomi Aboku, NTA News.
And from Enugu in the southeast of Nigeria, Comfort Aim reports that the prices of cassava, gari and palm oil are relatively cheap in the markets. Comfort reports that this is because of the introduction of various agricultural programs to boost their production in large quantities.
Some states in the southeast zone are known for the production of gari and palm oil in large quantities. With the 9 mile square, 4,319 acres of plantation established in 1962 at Ohaji Farm Settlement, oil palm processing in Imo State has critical contributions to income generation and occupation of the people. The state is now a major exporter of palm oil in Nigeria. Production of cassava, gari, and oil palm in large quantities by farmers in a Borno state makes it affordable for the masses, thereby alleviating the sufferings many households go through in affording 3 square meals a day.
How do we process, package, and export our gari and cassava to other states? We want to hit the world market.
A visit to major markets in Enugu State, prices of gari and that of cassava are relatively cheap with the harvest season. For instance, a bag of gari since June 2019 goes for between 5,000 naira and 5,500 naira, as against 6,500 naira sold during December period.
Basin 2005, big basin. Before, now 4,000. Oh, you did 2 custom for now. Oh, you know there for 3.
On the other hand, oil palm, though available, but rose in price, as a 20 liter of oil is now sold 9,000 naira, as against 7,000 naira in Enugu, Comfort, Ayim, NTA News.
And you are watching Weekend File, and our guest tonight is a head of market information and system of the Nigeria Commodity Exchange, Oladutu Abiodun, who will be joining me in the studio very shortly for analysis of the issue at hand. But that will be after the break.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous. Whether you do it for fun or for political gains, real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
We now have in the studio head of market information and system of the Nigerian Commodity Exchange, Oladutu Abiodun. Mr. Abiodun, welcome to Weekend File.
Thank you very much.
Yes, you have watched reports from different parts of the country. But I want to ask you, have the findings of these reports in any way coincided with reports you are getting from your agents across the nation in terms of prices of food items?
Yeah, the reports is in tandem with the reports we get from the field. As we speak, prices of commodities, especially the grains, have dropped in the northern part of the country. And in the southern part of the country, the prices are higher than what we have in the northern part of the country. I think the reason for that is that at the northern part of the country, that is where the production is being done. That's the production center. And the southern part of the country is the consumption center. And some variables will add up in making the prices at the southern parts to be higher. I talk of the transportation, talk of the risk premium, and some other factors. So when somebody buys from the north, moves to the south, he needs to pay goods insurance, and there are other levies that will be paid on the road. All these would definitely add up to the cost or the price that the commodity will be sold in the southern part of the country.
All right, thank you. It's been a tradition that prices of food items go high during planting season. But this time around, the story is different. What do you think is responsible for the reverse?
Yeah, I think we have to give kudos to the federal government. If you look at the agricultural policy, agricultural promotion policy of the present administration, the priorities of the policy includes food security. It includes exporting of commodities. It includes job creation and income generation. And the government has gone a long way in backing up and making sure that the policy works. The Central Bank of Nigeria has actually waded in, and they have supported agriculture production greatly. The Anchor Borrow program is there. There are other intervention programs of the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme. So these have made a lot of people to take agriculture as a business, and a lot more people have also been involved in agricultural production. And you can also talk about the climatic factor. You know, if you have good climate, you expect to have a bumper harvest. So all these has made it possible. Coming from last year, people still have stocks of the agricultural production. And definitely, when we get to this season of planting again, they don't have a choice than to release those stock. And that is the reason why the prices are down. And because very soon, in the next 3 months or thereabouts, we'll expect new harvest. And if you don't sell, the producer, the farmer is going to lose out.
Yes. Do you have any food storage system? Because some persons may not want to sell their produce now, that's when the planting season.
Yeah. The Nigeria Commodity Exchange, we stand on 3 tripods of price discovery, quality assurance, and sanctity of the contract. And for us to effectively achieve this objective, we have warehouses spread across the country. What it means is that any farmer or farmer groups that are desirous to sell their commodities on the exchange, they need to take their commodities to accredited warehouses. Not just warehouses. These warehouses are managed by experts, warehouse operators and collateral managers. And the warehouses are insured, meaning that the farmers can be rest assured that the commodity is safe, the quality is going to be maintained, and by the time the price begins to appreciate, they cannot decide to sell. So we are working on more acquiring and renovating more warehouses so that we can increase our capacity to store these commodities.
All right. There are reports that Nigerian markets are open for about 12 countries, from Africa, and who are coming to buy our grains. And one is tempted to ask if the government is really getting the backward integration from those transactions.
Yeah. I think to start with, let us look at it from the perspective of the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement, which means that there will be free movement of persons and free trade among the African nation. So what it means is that this should not be too much of a cause for worry for us, But what the government needs to do is to strengthen the commodity exchange so that government could have income, revenue from the activities of these people that are coming in to buy from Nigeria. As it is today, government does not really have enough statistics of how much quantity, what is the value of this transaction that is going on. But with the commodity exchange, they were going to keep good record of what is sold, how much is sold, quantity that is sold, and the income will go to government in terms of the commissions, trading commissions that will be charged. It's definitely going to be a plus to income generation efforts or income drive of the government. So another angle to it is that people will be spurred to invest more in agriculture because they know that the platform is there to sell. And as more people are coming in, a lot of people are taking up businesses, production, in agricultural production, and our food sufficiency level is increasing by the day.
All right, tell me about the viability of the formal commodity market.
The formal commodity market or the commodity exchange is very, very viable. It is the way to go. You know that in the traditional informal markets, you can't be too sure of the quality you're buying. We have had instances of rejection of our commodities exported to the EU. In 2018 alone, NAFDAC received alert from the EU where about 44 products, food products from Nigeria were rejected. So the reason is because this product or this commodity, they were not sourced on the commodity exchange. The commodity exchange promotes quality assurance, quality certification, quality assaying. The buyers require some parameters, quality parameters. These parameters, the exchange ensures that these parameters are there. So the issue of rejects of our products at the international market will no longer occur. If you look at the local agro-processing company too, the companies that are producing agricultural products, using agricultural commodities as their raw materials, they also need to make use of good quality. Because if they don't do that, their balance sheet will not be okay. They might need to spend a lot of money to repair their broken down machines because maybe they ended up having half stone, half grains, which is not very good for them. So the potential for the commodity exchange is very enormous. It is going to drive industrialization process of this country. So government needs to give more support to the commodity exchange.
Now, you just mentioned something about the rejection of some Nigeria's agricultural produce, that were exported. They were rejected because of poor quality. Now, that will bring us into the issue of quarantine. What is the role of quarantine service in this? Because I have a clue as to what quarantine service does and into certification, as you rightly mentioned. Are they involved in this?
Yeah. The question is, I wouldn't say the Nigerian factor. Because if the quarantine is supposed to examine these products before they are taken out, and they didn't do what is supposed to be done, and the products are rejected.
Were those projects presented to them for verification? That's another point.
No. See, I will not be in a position to say that those products were presented. But what I know is that at the ports, most of our products that are exported FOB. It is expected that some experts in quality are saying that is designated by the importing companies abroad. They are supposed to send their experts to verify the quality parameters and certify that this quality are okay before they are exported. Whatever went wrong, it's an issue for another day.
Okay. All right, thank you. You were just talking to us about the formal commodity market.
Yes.
Now, are the markets open to smallholder farmers? And I mean, how can the formal commodity market benefit the smallholder farmers?
Yeah, the first thing we have to understand is that Nigeria agricultural production is dominated by smallholder farmers, and that their capacity is very low in terms of output, yield per hectare, and so on and so forth. But for these smallholder farmers to benefit maximally from the exchange, they need to organize themselves into farmers groups to be able to have sufficient volume to trade on an exchange. Because the exchange is a wholesale market. We trade in tons. We trade in contract size. A contract size of maize, for example, is 5 tons. In our local parlance, we all know that in most of the markets, a bag of maize is 100 kg. If you sum that together, it means you're talking of 50 bags of maize to be able to get 5 tons. So some of these farmers may not have that capacity, but by the time they come together in groups, they'll be able to get that great sufficient volume, and they can trade on the exchange. And we are really working with the farmers. Not quite long ago, we went to Benue State to train some farmers on how they can access the platform. In Ekiti State, we are having relationship and cooperation with some farmers, and so on and so forth. So we really want the smallholder farmers to come on board. There is room for them. They just need to organize themselves, and by coming to the exchange, they are going to benefit maximally in terms of pricing, in terms of also planting the right quality.
Okay. Now, in your earlier comment, you talked about paying of levies by those transporting food from one state to the other. There are many levies to pay, and one I would like to ask as to the legality of such levies, because there are just too many.
You see, most of these levies, some local government officials will mount some roadblocks and would make sure that whoever that is moving the products or the commodities pays some form of levies. So, but I think this is a cause for concern. We need to really look at it, whether these levies are legal, whether it is illegal. But with the commodity exchange, really, some of these issues can be resolved.
So at this point, you're satisfied with the prices of foods in Nigeria?
Yeah, it's good for the country. It's good for food security. It's even good for exports. It's good for job creation. It's good for income generation. And I think kudos to what government is doing
at the
in
moment,
revamping the agricultural sector.
All right, thank you very much, Oladetu Abiodun. Oladetu Abiodun, of course, is the head of market information and system of the Nigerian Commodity Exchange. It's our pleasure hosting you today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And you're watching Weekend File. Sports Update is next.
Follow us on all our social media platforms: Facebook at NTA Network News, Instagram at NTA Network, Twitter at NTA News Now, YouTube at NTA News Online. Or visit www.nta.ng. For live streaming, visit www.nta.ng/live. Now, you can stay updated on the go, be it on your TV, iPhone, laptop, or iPad, or download the NTA mobile application from your Play Store or App Store. NTA, you can beat the rich.
Now, Egypt dominates the just concluded 2019 International Table Tennis Federation African Club Championship in Lagos. Olumide Eguntola tells us more.
A 50 table tennis club from Africa converged on Lagos to compete at the 2019 ITTF African Club Championship in Lagos. At the end of the championship, ENPPL of Egypt beat SOJ Table Tennis Club of Nigeria 3-1 at an explosive final decided at the Teslim Balogun Stadium, Lagos. Al Ali of Egypt won the female category 3-0 at the expense of Kenyan Queens of Nigeria.
The finals was perfect. All the players tried their best.
It is a big honor for my club and for my country.
Meanwhile, the ITTF Continental Cup of Africa is currently going on at the same venue. The Nigerian Olympic gold medalist Enefiok Udo Obong has commenced a week-long athletics training program for children between the ages of 8 and 16 at the Yaba College of Technology, Lagos. The program, which hosts thrice in a week, provides a platform for talent identification, top-class training with Olympic values, as well as the basic techniques of a future Olympian.
They have to be students of the sport. So tell them about the records, the history, the rules. So you teach them and let them get excited.
The Lagos State Blind Sports Squad have organized its maiden competition, tagged Light Up Our Hopes at the Euro Park, Yaba. About 75 blind sportsmen and women featured at the event in 5 sports, namely judo, braille chess, goalball, ayu, and powerlifting. The athletes are hoping to take part in the forthcoming World Blind Powerlifting Championship in Egypt, scheduled for November 2019.
Organize this particular program to create awareness. We are yet to be registered, but we want people to support us.
About 9 countries, including Nigeria, are currently vying for honors at the 2019 CAVB Zone 3 African Volleyball Nations Cup in Accra, Ghana. Team Nigeria on Saturday beat Burkina Faso 3-2 in its first match of the tournament, which featured both male and female categories. The Nigeria's second match is against Benin Republic on Sunday. With sports updates, Olumide Kuntola, NT News.
Now let's check the weather forecast for Sunday across the nation.